All right, we're live.
What is up, fam? We are in for our weekly conversation with Mel and Mar. This is good. And I'm braiding my hair. As we have this part of the conversation.
And we are still good humans and good talks for our motto,
Yeah.
enriching lives through conversation.
Yeah.
Uh, we're on episode 4, I think this is. So,
Yes, we have recorded. This will be our fourth episode, which is awesome. Um, Hopefully we're gonna get some other things rolling too. But as we kind of talked about last week, Mar and I are both coaches, and well, I guess this has been, I guess, an underlying theme. All of our conversation is Mar and I are both coaches. Um, I would even go as far to say professional coaches. That's like what we do for a living for the most part. We spend a lot of time working with people, thinking about how we work with people, leadership, all of that. But nutrition, I've been a nutrition coach for going on 6 years. It'll be 6 years in the spring. Well, like late spring, like what's April, May, I think. Oh no, actually it was July. My certification. I got my certification in July. Sorry, I just remembered that because I have to re-up this year. That's why. um, and so I've been doing it for a while. Had lots of clients, all the things. Mar just recently got her nutrition certification, but I'll let her talk a little bit about that.
um, yeah, so I've been coaching group classes in CrossFit for like 10 years. Um, and was affiliate owner for co-owner for 4 years with various different partners. Um, And so, like, nutrition's always been a huge part of the conversation because if you really look to what the roots of CrossFit is, like, nutrition's actually part of the like 100 words of fitness. Like, it's a very deep-rooted foundational piece to fitness. Yes.
There it is, right on the front of my
Yay.
notebook.
Yay. I love that. Um, and then I've just always been interested in it. And then before I coached CrossFit, I actually did a lot of sports specific training. A lot of people don't know this. I've been a sports specific trainer since like high school. So I was like actually training like younger sports athletes. I got a certification on this like high speed treadmill thing that was experimental at the time that they were training like WNBA players and pro athletes on
Cool.
for like high speed. Like
Yeah,
there was
I've
a
seen them. They're cool.
yeah, they're pretty sweet. Like there's like
In
harnesses and all sorts of stuff and you train all
case you
four
fly
directions.
off.
I've never flown off. I mean, when you have the harness on because you are going for a pure sprint, like you do like jump on and off of it and stuff and
Yeah.
could potentially go flying off. But it's a lot of fun. It's
Oh,
pretty safe.
oh,
Like I mean anything though that you're going for max effort can be have its risks. Um
yeah.
but yeah, I did a lot of like speed and agility training, sports specific stuff. And then I coached like volleyball and basketball through college and a little bit after college. And then I found CrossFit. So that's where I switched. And then I finally so I actually had some kind of like nutrition clients, but I say that like loosely because I like help guide people, but I was very careful on what I was allowed to do and what I wasn't. But I felt like some credentials behind my name would be good. So I have a biology and a chem degree. That's also helpful. Nutrition's a big part of the degree. Actually, not a big part, but you're required to take some classes. Um, and then um, I have my like it's like a CBG, which is consistency breeds growth mixed with like it's an NASM recognized like program. So it's a 16-week course. And then I've been coached by PN1 coaches before. I really like a lot of their concepts.
That's what I have. So I have a P in one, and then I have my CrossFit. But
Yeah. And then I did the CrossFit nutrition course while studying for the L3. I mean, I don't have my L3, but that and the nutrition course was actually very in depth. Like there's a lot of really
very
good stuff in there. It's really, really good. Um, it exposes you to a lot of different concepts and beliefs around things. And what I love is it's kind of unbiased. Like it doesn't say one's good or not good. It just is like, here's keto, here's paleo, here's vegan and pescatarian, here's this and that. And then it's just like how to kind of approach those things um, and to execute them and even intermittent fasting and some other stuff. So it's
good.
just really good exposure to a little bit of everything. I think what I've learned most about getting certifications, and you can kind of like tell me if I'm wrong on this, but like it's kind of like the more I've learned, the more I realize like how much we don't know about a lot of things, but also what we do. And
Yeah.
when you have each individual client, there might be some extra research to make sure that you go back and do. And really, like there's certain things that are common themes, like with everybody. And we were talking about this before we started live, but it's like there's a lot of mindset stuff. Um, but then like with more specific stuff, it's like having access to the information and exposure can give you like that little bit of, oh yeah, and recall, and then you go back deeper when you really need to. Like, so somebody in perimenopause is very different than someone who's going through menopause, and is very different than like a 20-year-old athlete who wants to go to the games. Um,
Hmm.
and a female is also different than a male. Um, and how we approach things. Also, like I was recently talking to somebody else too about how we mentally approach things. Like sometimes guys need more kick in the butt of like, you suck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't believe you can do this. Like, you need to go prove me wrong. And some women are motivated by that too. But like a lot of women need to be more empowered that they can do it because we struggle
Yeah.
more with confidence. And I feel like men just have this like uncanny ability to be confident when they really shouldn't. I think that's
Yeah.
why there's like ego lifting more often with dudes and they hurt themselves that way. And then with women, we more often than not aren't pushing ourselves enough, at least at first when we're getting exposed to this. And then after a while, there's a level where we've hit a certain level and then you get hurt and you come back and then you're like, oh, I used to be able to do all this. And then you're just experimenting and it's just a mess. But um in general, like those again, nobody ever always fits into like a box and I hate, but I think generalities and understanding of that can kind of help us understand just human nature and how we work and how to best approach some different people. And for me, I can never fully pull out my empowering side. Like I've actually had some of my most successful clients have been men, and maybe it's because I was empowering to them and
Yeah.
they would do enough beating themselves up.
Well, yeah.
And
I
a
think,
lot of us do, but
and that's the nuance of coaching.
yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? I think good coaches know how to maybe not initially work with a client, but I think just having that empathic ability to meet people where they're at
yeah,
is really important. I think so many people are intimidated by nutrition or nutrition coaching. They feel like it's a really intense thing. They feel like they shouldn't be able to do it without a coach.
yeah.
Um,
Because the
you know,
information's all there. And I think
uh-huh.
that's
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
even hard about being a coach. It's like sometimes I struggle with like what value am I actually adding? And then it's really truly like the accountability piece and like knowing
yeah.
what to do when first. Like just kind of triaging and putting it in order and
Yeah, and then holding accountable.
and but it's like I think the accountability piece is like the biggest piece. Um, because I think a lot of people keep trying to do stuff on their own and then they
Right.
see maybe some varying degree of success or little bits of it, but it's really hard to stay like consistent and build on it over time without help and also seeing those blind spots on the behavioral patterns.
Well, and we're also we're shaped by who like our past. Like it's important to know that. And so that's kind of where I've kind of found my niche in this in the nutrition space is um coming at it from that mindset side. So I have a background in mental health um and and like education. And so that's my background. I have a master's and um spent lots of time working with kids and families. And then I worked in the community mental health space for a long time and received a lot of really cool knowledge and training through that job and loved it. And then I've kind of taken all of that knowledge and I have several certifications that don't really matter in this space at all. But it's just like I've been able to take all that knowledge and put it together and really apply it to people. Um, and just being relatable, like meeting people where they're at, like I said, is just really, really important. Um, but what's cool about what we're doing is that just like by the time this comes out, it will have already happened. But we're getting ready to sit down with our individual communities. It's funny that it happened on the same weekend. We're getting ready to sit down with our individual communities, Mar in Oklahoma City and me in Springfield, and we're going to sit down and have a just kind of a base foundational conversation about nutrition. Hers is on Saturday, mine's on Sunday, and we did not plan that. Like, it did not. We did not talk about it beforehand. And so when we were kind of prepping for this episode, we're like, yeah, I got this thing. And I'm like, I've got this thing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so funny. But yeah, so we just one quick thing. We want some things we just wanted to unpack today, because we both do fundamentally believe in the CrossFit methodology. Like, that is something we're both classically trained, I guess, if you will, in CrossFit. We've both competed extensively in the sport of CrossFit. It's really kind of shaped us into the people that we are. And so when I look at nutrition, I definitely look at it through the lens of an athlete, and that we believe everybody is an athlete, and we believe that everybody, even if they're just coming in for 1 hour a day, even if they're just walking, has the ability to be an athlete. And that requires a different mindset. I think a lot of people have a hard time thinking about that, like thinking about that they are an athlete. That goes into the whole mindset piece. But there are just some really fundamental things that CrossFit teaches about nutrition that, like I said, all the information's there and you can do with it what you will. But we talk about the hierarchy of an athlete, is this pyramid like this, and it's got different steps. Like, if you're familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs, it is very similar to that. But at the foundational level, so the bottom layer of the pyramid, is nutrition. And we believe that you cannot live your life. Obviously, food is something that we all have to intake, and hydration is part of that. We have to. It's a requirement. And what you put in your body matters. And so we found this really cool graphic, which I'll let Mara talk about, that is related to that. But kind of where we wanted to jump in was this bottom layer, and that we truly believe that nutrition is the foundation.
And then so this is the little.
Oh, you're blurry.
I guess maybe I should turn that off. I was just getting distracted by my own background, so hold on. I
was getting distracted by my own background.
Anyways, this is the little.
Yes, yes, that's our hierarchy.
Yeah, and then I really like adding even below that is sleep, because I feel like even if you eat super well, sleep like affects that. You were the one who told me, how many extra calories does the average person input a day or whatever when you have lack of sleep, where it's like per your like lack of sleep under.
Oh, it's a lot more. I don't remember at the top of my head, but
because it's like your body needs to make up for. Well, we can talk about that in a second. So let's talk about this. This one, it starts with nutrition, and then it goes up to metabolic conditioning, which is like the foundation of CrossFit. That's like where you're mixing the like lighter weights and gymnastic skills and running and all sorts of things. Then it's gymnastics above that. So like, as the skill progression goes up. And then I find this interesting is weightlifting and throwing, because we don't throw a whole lot in CrossFit anymore. We do have where we do wall balls, which is like throwing to a target. What else do we have that's throwing?
I mean, you could technically layer in like snatching and cleaning in there.
Weightlifting, but that's weightlifting.
But that's weightlifting. But there is an element.
Sandbag clings, I guess, would be one.
There's some elements of throwing in like slam balls.
I was gonna say in the slam balls would be the other one I would think of, like
that's about it.
Yeah. And then there's sport at the top. So like this is the foundation you need to build to get to sport, basically, like, and performance. And then we have like the bonus world of like just sleep underneath all of it. But sleep doesn't actually mean you're doing CrossFit. Everybody sleeps and everybody eats. And then at that point, then we do like the other layers to layer in like the theoretical hierarchy of development. And then I'm gonna, on my seminar, I'm planning on talking about then the coaching or the nutrition version of this. And so the bottom base is I'm gonna still say is sleep. Like sleep's gonna matter the most. I'm gonna go look up this fact in a second when
I
you're
have it. I looked it up.
Oh, you did? Okay. Yeah, so first share that and then we'll
Yeah, so on average, people eat 300 to 500 extra calories per day when sleep deprived.
So what counts as sleep deprived?
I don't know. Let's ask.
And it might be different for men and women actually, and age might also depend, but
Yes. What is sleep deprived? I would say anything less than 6 would be mine. What would you say sleep deprived is?
I would probably say 7 or less. I just at that point, if I've gone more than 1 day a week without 7 hours of sleep, like if I have more than 1 day of less than 7 hours of sleep, I
Yeah,
actually like don't train.
6 or less is
Yeah,
what chat
6 or
says.
less. Okay. I'll still train if it's like a 6.5 hour night or 6 hours. But if I have under 6 hours of sleep, I don't even train.
Now, is that like that's a sleep time? That's not like sweet sleep window, like in
Uh,
bed.
I kind of flirt between the two. It depends on how well I'm rested, but like I have to have at least a 6 hour sleep window.
Yeah, we're doing a challenge right now with MindFit, and um, he did. That's what I thought was really interesting is he did a sleep window instead of like hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's challenged me just to get in bed sooner, which is
Right.
good. And so it's just like get in bed, put your phone away,
Right.
read,
Yeah.
don't, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's kind of the pyramid that we base everything off of. Were you gonna say something else?
Yeah. And so then the nutrition one starts with calories as the base. It's calories in, calories out. It's like simple math. Um, there is a lot of stuff going on right now where it says like hormones and other things can maybe I don't know. There's a lot to that to unpack, but that's like the simple
Yeah,
thing, right? It's calories in, calories out. Like if you're burning more calories than you are consuming,
inserting. Yeah, or the other way. Yeah,
you should be like losing weight, right? Burning fat. Now, maybe it's not burning fat. Maybe your body is in some sort of metabolic version where it is storing more fat or not burning as much as you should be. I think that's where the key to the hormone issues are. It's like,
insulin resistance is a thing.
yes.
Uh-huh.
And then but that so there's calories is the first one. Then the next one's the macros, the basics. You got protein, carbs, fat. That's what makes up most of what we eat. I think the bonus one here is fiber. I think fiber we need a lot. Um,
What do you prescribe for fiber?
yeah, I think that also like helps people lose weight,
Uh huh.
just admit like do be so much healthier. And
Yeah, but what do you prescribe? How many grams a day?
I think that's such a depends. But um I
Well,
haven't
so is
really
calories in, calories out.
what?
I said, so is calories in,
Yeah,
calories out.
exactly. That's why it's like there's not
So,
a prescriptive calorie intake for a person. It depends on their activity level.
yeah,
Um, but
I I love things with fiber in them.
yeah,
Like that's something that I've really changed in my personal diet just in the last, I would say, 3 4 months.
yeah. What's your
That's
target?
it. Huh?
What's your target?
I try and get, let me see what I average. I don't even know. I just try to get in 800 grams of veggies a day. I follow EC's
Right.
model. Um, and I try to get in, and it's easy for me. Like
Yeah, you
I
literally
don't
like
have time at
eat
all.
just vegetables like half the time.
Yeah. And I like it.
I love
I
that for
like
you.
it. So yeah, I love that for you. So like
I like the vegetables you make for sure. I like
yeah.
veggies. My
So I
problem
had
is I don't always have access to my cute little griddle to just
yeah, I know the
vegetables
griddle's the
on it.
greatest.
It's
So
like
I get between 25 and 30 almost every day.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Would you say that's what you would recommend most of your clients, or how many do you recommend to?
It depends.
See, you
Um,
can't do that to me. I'm in the trap. God.
it's a trap. It just depends on where they're at. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not going to prescribe somebody an 800-gram challenge if they're not eating any veggies or fruits during the day. We'll start with one piece of fruit and not even really talk about fiber. Like, we'll talk about what it's doing for you, but like, I'm not going to set somebody a goal to get
right.
in.
They're not used to it like at all, which is shockingly a lot of
I
Americans.
know.
It's like it's really sad how our culture has put conveniently the opposite of what we really need. And like,
Yeah, you shouldn't be going to like an electronics store. Like this is the analogy that gets me every time. Like we should not be going to like your Best Buys and like I mean back in the day Radio Shack, remember Radio Shack?
yes.
Um and like there be candy bars and soda. It's like what is the purpose of that being there? Nothing other than for you to eat it. And when you go there, you're probably not even hungry. But hunger cues are a whole nother
Yeah, food
conversation.
noise and all that. It's not maybe we could talk about that next time we talk
Yeah,
about
food
food.
noise.
But
Let's talk about that next
yeah,
time.
we're gonna put a pin in that.
Okay.
But then it's after the macros, like the basic composition of your food. Then and then it's actually food composition. So then it's like whole food versus protein bars, candy bars, like processed things in a package versus like as
Like
close
not
to
all
nature.
proteins are created equal.
No.
Um,
And
yeah.
I have gone to where I really do try to avoid protein bars because there's a lot of hidden sugars and things in them.
Oh,
Now,
they're so good though.
they are, and they're not all created equal, right? Like there's the RX bars, which are made out of real food, and those
The
can
first
go.
one bars are good though. They
I
taste like candy
actually
bars.
wish I liked them, and I don't. And I,
Oh,
first
I
time with the
do.
company, I can't eat their bars. Like I don't know what it is. They feel
The
like,
chocolate pretzel peanut butter
yeah,
one.
that's the one I think of, and it's like heavy to me, and it
Oh,
dries
it's
my
so
mouth out.
good.
I think it's both peanut butter and pretzels that both dry my mouth out, and I'm like, but I have become less and less of a peanut butter fan in general
Oh
now.
yeah, I'm not a big peanut butter fan. I would rather have almond butter
Agreed.
or
Or just like
avocado
the mixed nut butter from like Costco.
or the
Uh,
sunflower butter. Like
Sunflower
I
butter
do.
is basically what I've converted to at my house.
Yeah, I don't.
That
I'm
works
not a
right
big
now.
fan of peanut butter. It's just never been for me. Like my husband loves Reese's, all
Mhm.
things.
I used to hate Reese's. Reese's has started to come weirdly like one of the few things I kind of like with peanut butter because it doesn't taste like real peanut butter.
Well, exactly. It's not real peanut butter.
No, it tastes totally different, but
It's not peanut butter. It's
yeah,
like peanut butter flavored stuff.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, so the food composition is like the next level. So first calorie in and out. And that's why macros was, I think, so popular when it hit the scene because people were excited to eat their donut or eat
Well,
their
I have a donut every week,
as long as it fits in their macros.
right? But
And
it also can be dangerous. That's what I've figured out for me
right.
is like, and I've seen this in clients too, is like it can also be really dangerous because then you're like holding all your macros for the end of the day. You're not fueling appropriately, like especially when you're training at
Yeah.
a higher level, like you just can't do that. You have to spread your calories out, and yeah, it just becomes this whole thing.
Well, I
Um,
think where sometimes the tracking in general can get kind of
yeah,
tough.
obsessive.
And that's where I we can talk a little bit about this, but like the CBG is like do this without tracking your macros, which is funny because you still talk about macros and the importance of which type of thing is what, and you want to focus on your protein, but we create like the whole concept is for most people. So there's um I do think there's different approaches because I have tracked before and I think it's valuable for like a short period of time just to kind of see where you're at. It's like to meet yourself where you're at, like to see what your habits truly have become. Because without it's like tracking your workouts, it's like tracking anything, it does matter, but there's different ways to skin the cat, right? There's different methods of going about it. And what I've liked about CBG is they create a blueprint. So it also helps you with your timing. And there's basically like, hey, you're trying to get like 30 to 40 grams of protein, but we're not going to measure it. And so it actually does calculate a margin of error because there's
Yeah.
going to be error when you don't weigh things. Um, and
Well,
so
and that's the thing that
yeah,
people don't realize that even when you are weighing and measuring, there is still a
there's
margin of error.
still a margin of error, right? Because
It's like
it's
there's still a
also
margin of error.
possible to measure every single thing you put in your mouth. Like it's just anyway. And so it's truly about like just timing and being more aware of like what you're eating and when you're eating it. Because after food composition, then timing is what matters most. And then the last thing is supplements. So it's been actually really frustrating on Instagram lately, and I don't know where my algorithm has gone, but I get so many things
Down the
for
rabbit hole.
supplements. Like I get
Like
so many
I,
ads
I
for
I have
supplements.
friends that are doing the whole like peptide thing. Like I get it and I love it for them. And I love that they're finding a niche and making a living and like doing all the
Right.
things. I'm here for that. But at the same time, like what else? What are you doing?
That's the
Like,
tip of the iceberg. Like that's only going to
yeah,
move the needle 2 to 5%, right?
Hmm.
And at an elite level or a competitive level, even the level we're at, we're not at elite, but like there's a certain value to supplements that, and I
Yeah.
do notice the difference of if I drink my protein or not, and if I have my creatine or not. And protein and creatine are probably the top two supplements most regular athlete people should be taking. Creatine is the most
Well,
studied supplement. It is already in our bodies. It's such a great way to fuel, not especially for women, not only our muscles, but our minds. Like it
yeah.
helps our cognitive abilities. There's so much coming out about it. But creatine will not help you lose weight or help you hit your body composition goals. Creatine is just going to help give you that little extra edge, kind of like caffeine, right? Like your cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And there is a point where, yeah, we don't function well without that. So it does matter, but it's like, but the true way you're going to function the best is by eating whole foods at the right times to support your activity level. Like,
Yeah. See, I don't use protein powders, but I have zero problems getting in my protein.
yeah, I
So
try to
that's
get
why
it from whole food most of the time. I just find that I have a really hard time eating after
right.
training.
And your
And
schedule is like
And my schedule's
really,
chaos. So it's like if I can have my protein, it really helps me pad that extra gap sometimes. And honestly, like with how busy I can be, Colton Mertens actually told me this one time whenever we were at our athlete camp. It was he was like, sometimes it's just too much work to eat all your calories or chew them up. So you got to just drink them. So
yeah.
that's where like really
I've
good
been
sources of chocolate milk can be considered almost like a whole food, right? Like, I mean, it's because it's
there.
if you're especially if it's like unpasteurized from a local farmer or whatever, like that was actually one of our sponsors at the camp, and that's how we got onto that because it was like such a great recovery drink, for us just to have, and it's so much easier to drink some stuff than eat it all the time. But that's
Yeah.
also where it's really easy to get into a calorie surplus when you're eating great and clean. It's really easy to drink your calories, like from coffee at Starbucks to,
Yeah, and I
um,
think that just becomes aware, right?
yeah,
I'm also not a fan of like all the protein things,
yeah,
like, like protein Pop Tarts and like all of those things. Like, just eat some chicken. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, not that those things aren't novel and
right.
are good, but I'm telling you, they're not great. Right. But
Where I see
again,
their place. So
but if that gets you down the road, you
I will
know,
say I appreciate those legendary Pop Tarts for a few different circumstances.
there you go.
So one, when I'm on the road and there is literally nothing else for me to grab that has 20 grams of protein.
There you go.
Um, and you know
See?
why they are made? Is for diabetics to wean off of like the sweet pastry things. So instead of getting an actual Pop Tart, they would get they these like the legendary Pop Tarts, which have 20 grams and they don't have
Hmm.
like all this added sugar. And so
Yeah.
it would help them with their palate because part of it's behavioral issues. And so
Yep.
it's like, how about we do this instead of that? And it's like a way to kind of start
Sure.
transitioning. But
See?
I
That has to
1,000% agree. Like I have those as backup in emergencies. Like I don't
Yeah, no,
eat
I'm
them
here for
every
that.
day. But if I'm on the road and that's like all a place has, but most of the time I try to take like meat sticks now and like stock up at
Mhm.
um and then I love this high ground stuff. This thing is my hero
Oh
for
yeah,
a busy person. This
gosh,
stuff,
Mar and her,
they
Mar and
don't
her.
sponsor me yet. I
If
hope
you
they
want
do.
to sponsor the podcast, High Ground,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
can you
So,
imagine?
but I love them. This is literally just like beef chips. Like it's not chewy or
Oh, they're
sugary or flavorful like a lot of the other stuff. But I think most food actually tastes better if you don't mess with it. Like I've even heard some professional chefs are like, people just add too much stuff and it's like let the food do the
good.
work.
Seafood.
Like
Yeah,
let it just be full of its own flavor. And if you anyways, I do think there's a place for seasonings. I love seasonings on
oh
vegetables and stuff, but this stuff is just gonna, you can add a little drop of honey if you need a little sugar to it, but this thing is my hero for when I'm traveling. I keep these
yeah,
bags in my car at all times so that I have protein that's a real whole food. They do actually have like expiration dates.
yeah, that's
I mean,
cool.
and so you want stuff that actually does have expiration dates as much as I love to stock up on like random food that doesn't go bad for a long time. Um, But yeah, anyways,
Yeah,
so that's where I've even tried to like upgrade all my like on the go stuff. But there's a time and a place for sure. And I think like my brother, he loves crackers and Oreos. He is very overweight, and I think the way for him sometimes behaviorally would definitely need to be more of like those legendary Pop Tarts or something that like,
Yeah. Well, and I think, like you said, I think there's a time and a place for that.
yeah,
I'm not saying that
yeah,
it should all be that, but I'm just saying that
I
like
agree.
that's kind of where like the meeting clients where they're at thing, like that's where that comes from. Is like
Yeah,
we as coaches have the professional ability to come in and be like, listen, this is where I see that you're at. This is how I think we're gonna take the first steps. I think a lot of people get really caught up in the like, where do I even start situation? Because we have to eat.
yeah,
Like
we do.
nutrition is part of it, and it's so easy just to fall back into habits. I have a meeting with a client tomorrow because she had some big things happen last week, and she's like, Mel, I just fell back into habits. And I'm like, that's okay. Like,
Right.
like having that conversation around like, your brain has neural pathways, and when we go into fight or flight mode, like our brain is going to go back to those habits and behaviors that are more well-worn paths in the grass. You can kind of think of those neural pathways as like walking through tall grass. The more you walk that path, the more you use that habit, the more worn down that gets. So when you try to create new ones and things go sideways and things like friction happens, like you're going to divert back to those old habits. That's just the brain science of it. So there's a lot of like strategies and things that you can be doing, like, we're, increasing friction around behaviors you don't want to see, decreasing friction around things you want to do, like, like again, planning, things like that. But there's a lot to unpack. I mean, like, I think Mara and I could talk on this topic for days and days and days. But I just think ultimately the big thing that we would like you guys to understand here is that like nutrition is the foundation and is the basis. And even if you're doing CrossFit, even if you're going to the gym, like this stuff matters, like really, really matters. And is probably the biggest lever you can pull if you want to increase your performance.
Mm-hmm. Or even just your functionality as a person
Yeah,
and
it's
all
just a
health and wellness. It's going to move the needle the most. So, we are about out of time. So we can definitely put a pin on it and continue to talk later. But I guess we need to wrap it
yes,
up and
I
we'll
guess.
make some more time for some more conversations too. So this was good. Mel and Mar.
See
Good
you
here.
later.
We'll see ya. Peace out.
Bye.